Hello, welcome to Confetti Crochet. In today's tutorial, we're going to show how to do a Buns Out Beanie. For this project, you will need a medium weight yarn, a 5mm or 5.5mm hook depending on your tension, a sewing needle, and scissors. Okay, we're going to start with a slip knot, and then chain 36. Now we're going to skip the first loop and then single crochet into the next 2 loops. After that, we'll do 2 half doubles. And then we'll finish out this row by doing double crochets into each loop all the way down. There'll be a total of 31. For easy weaving in, you can complete this last double crochet with the tail as well as the working yarn. It just helps get that tail woven in without having to sew anything. Okay, we finished row 1, so let's go ahead and chain 2, which does not count as a stitch. I'm going to turn our work. Okay, and we're going to finish with this tail by doing the first double crochet in the back loop only. Grab the working yarn, but now I'm going to do this double crochet with the tail as well. And then the tail is all done. I can cut it and it won't be in my way. Okay, we're going to work in the back loop only. We're going to do 30 more double crochets. Okay, we'll stop when there's 4 stitches left. We'll do a half double crochet in the back loop only, another half double crochet in the back loop only, and then a single crochet in the back loop only, and finish with a single crochet in the back loop. Okay, this is going to give us a nice tighter look on the top of the beanie, which makes it less bulky once we cinch it. You're going to chain 1 and turn. That doesn't count as a stitch. In the first stitch, we're going to do a back loop only single crochet, and then another back loop only single crochet. Next, we'll do a back loop only half double crochet, and then another back loop only half double crochet. And then we'll finish off with back loop only double crochets all the way down for a total of 31. Okay, we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and now we're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 and then 2 one more time. All right, so you can see that these are the 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're moving on to row 7. This will be the row that includes the little hole for our bun. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. That does not count as a stitch. Back loop only single crochet, back loop only single crochet. Now back loop only half double crochet, and another back loop only half double crochet. Now we're going to do 6 back loop only double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can customize this. You can make it shorter or longer if you want. Okay, now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then back loop double crochet in that 7th stitch. Okay, and there we have our hole again. If it needs to be bigger, longer, whatever it needs to be for you, that's totally fine. Okay, we're going to continue this row with back loop only double crochets all the way down. There should be a total of 19. Okay, this does have a lot of stretch just with those 6 chains. Okay, for row 8, we're going to chain 2, turn our work. That doesn't count as a stitch. I'm going to do 19 back loop only double crochets. Okay, once we get to the chain, it's really important that we make sure we get all 6 of them. So if you need to count backwards, just to double check you're in the right spot, please do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be this one right here. And we're just going into one loop of the chain, and this is going to look like the back loop once we look at this completed row. Okay, that's 2. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see it still has that ridge like the other back loop only double crochets of that row. Very nice and clean. Okay, next we're going to continue with 6 back loop only double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4 stitches left. I'm going to do 2 back loop half double crochets, and then finish with 2 back loop single crochets. Now for rows 9 through 30, you're going to alternate row 3 and 4, 11 times each for a total of 22 rows. Okay, so there we have it. 30 rows total from start to where we are right now. If you need to add or subtract, just make sure you're ending on a row 4. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mimic the beginning and just flip it. We're going to start with making the hole and then finishing the hole and then concluding with those last 3 rows. So for row 31, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. That does not count as a stitch. We're going to do 2 back loop only single crochets. Now we'll we'll do 2 back loop only half double crochets. And now 6 back loop only double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we're going to chain 6. If you chained a different number, make sure you're just repeating what you did at the start. Okay, now let's skip 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the 7th, we'll do a back loop only, half double crochet. And we'll continue that down the end of the row, 19 times total. Here you can see the symmetry. This puts the seam directly in the very back of the hat. Gives you nice even buns on both sides. Okay, on to row 32. Chain 2, turn your work. This does not count as a stitch. We're going to do 19 back loop only double crochets. Once you get to the chain, you're going to do 6 double crochets in the loops. Make sure you're in all 6 of them. That first one's a little hard to spot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we'll do 6 back loop only double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the last 4 stitches, 2 back loop half doubles, and then 2 back loop singles. Right, so now you can see we just have a few more rows left to make this symmetrical on both sides. We're just going to be filling in that same pattern till we meet in the middle. So we're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until we have a total of 37. Okay, and now the hat is completely done. That's all 37 rows. So I have a low sew version where we stitch the sides together, If you don't want to do this, you can very easily just cut the yarn and then with the needle stitch up the sides. Okay, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. I need to turn the project inside out. And then I'm going to line up the side I'm working on with the first row of chains we did. You want to go through the chain row first, and then end going through the back loop of row 37. So that's the starting chain we did. I'm only going through one loop of it, and then I'm going to go through the back loop only of the double crochet in row 37. And I'm going to slip stitch them together. So go through the next loop of the starting chain, and then the back loop only of row 37, and slip stitch them together. Loop of the starting chain, back loop of row 37, slip stitch them together. And we're going to do this all the way down. You can see it gives it a hardly noticeable seam. And I'd much rather do this than sew. And we'll finish by going through the loop of the starting chain and the back loop of row 37. Complete that single crochet. Okay, we're going to chain 2, fasten off, but we need to leave a long tail for cinching. Okay, so you can see the front is nice and clean. It looks like the valleys and the mountains line up really nicely, completing it this way. Right, so we're still inside out, so this is the inside of the hat. We're going to thread the needle with the tail, and we're going to weave in and out of the single crochets at the very tippy top. Just up and down through that single crochet bump. It does not need to be perfect. And if you do have some imperfections you want to hide, you can very easily put a pom-pom or some other decoration on the top of this to hide it if needed. And now we're back to where we started. So now we need to pull it tight. That's going to cinch those edges together. So I like to tie a couple knots just for security. And then we can weave the tail in. Okay, you can cut the tail, flip it inside out, and you're all done. So the brim is long enough that you can fold it up. And then when we flip it to the back, you can see that row of slip stitches. You can barely even tell it's there. Thanks for watching.